Hey Astro Kids, and welcome back. And in today's video, we'll be talking about Mars in the 12th house. Let's go ahead and jump right into this. So just a few quick disclaimers before we start. You first want to understand what sign is Mars placed in. Is Mars in its own sign of Aries or Scorpio, exalted in Capricorn, debilitated in Cancer, or in a sign that it enjoys being in? This is very important to understand the functioning of Mars within your chart. Along with this, you want to understand, is Mars in conjunction with any planets or receiving aspects from planets? You also want to consider, where is Aries and Scorpio in your chart? This is very important to understand, as Mars will influence these houses. You also want to see, is Mars compatible with your ascendant Lord? And along with this, it's important to understand that Mars will mature at the age of 28. So this is a very pivotal moment for the functioning of Mars within your chart. Along with this, during a Mars return, where Mars will return back to the position where it was placed within your natal chart. The most significant moment, though, is during a Mars Mahadasha. So if you have not seen my video on the Mars Mahadasha Bhuktis, I will leave a link for that above and down below in the description. So what does Mars represent? Mars is considered to be an army general in astrology. Mars is representing our energy, our courage, our willpower. It is our ability to take the initiative. It is our risk-taking ability. It is our ability to take on obstacles in life and to progress forward. Mars is all about action. It doesn't want to stop and think. It wants to act. So sometimes Mars can also indicate an impulsive tendency. Along with this, Mars represents anger. So it's very important to understand how to control Mars within our natal charts. Mars also is a signifactor for blood, brothers, weapons, sharp objects, surgery, and so on. Mars is also dealing with computer skills, mathematical skills, engineering can be seen through Mars. And along with this, Mars is a significant factor for real estate. So anything related to property dealings can be seen under Mars's influence. So what does the 12th house represent? The 12th house is one of the most difficult houses to understand. And this is because the 12th house is the farthest house away from the ascendant. So it is very mysterious. It's very unknown. The things that exist within the 12th house oftentimes are disconnected from the physical. The 12th house is all about our subconscious mind, all about our imagination, our intuitive abilities. Anything that is mystical, spiritual, the occult, astrology is seen through the 12th house. The 12th house also represents our sleep and our dreams. It is all about our quality of sleep, along with our bed pleasures. The 12th house is representing isolation, seclusion. It is all about detaching from the physical world and going inward. All about deep contemplation, research, meditation, deep reflection can be seen through the 12th house. It also represents isolated facilities like hospitals and prisons. Along with this, the 12th house is a very spiritual house, and it can signify sacred places as well. Spiritual sanctuaries can be seen through the 12th house. And because the 12th house is the farthest away from the ascendant, it represents anything that is foreign to us as well. So all of our connections with foreign places, foreign cultures, foreign travel, foreign settlement is seen through this 12th house. The 12th house is also a place of loss, and this can be seen as losses in terms of expenditure and wealth, but it also can be seen as charity and donation, giving away to those in need. Along with this can be seen as a loss of energy. So what happens when Mars is positioned in the 12th house? Well, this is a very secretive position because once again, this 12th house is all about the things that are foreign, unknown, distant from us. So oftentimes, those who have Mars in the 12th house can be very secretive, very mysterious. You can have a great love of privacy, and you can need a lot of privacy to actually recuperate your energy levels. So sometimes it's very nice to have some time to yourself to reflect, to go inward, to replenish your energy. Mars here in this 12th house definitely gives you a lot of empowerment and energy through isolation. And this can also make you someone who is very much interested in astrology and occult mysticism and deep research. You love to go deeper into your studies. You are someone who is seeking deeper meaning in life. This gives you a penetrating insight. You can be able to uncover the secrets of your enemies. You can spot spot those who have hidden agendas with Mars in this 12th house. Sometimes Mars in the 12th house can also indicate moving into foreign lands. It definitely gives an interest into foreign locations, foreign cultures, foreign travel, and so on. And sometimes this can also indicate working in foreign lands or doing business that is related to foreign dealings. Mars here also, because this is the 12th house of bed pleasures, increases your sexual nature. And as far as relationships go, this is a manglic position, which means that you can have some obstacles in your relationships. Mars here definitely makes you someone who's very passionate, very intense in matters of love and relationships. Sometimes Mars here can also indicate spies, detectives, those who are dealing with secretive information, because Mars, of course, is the ruler of Scorpio, which is all about secretive information. So this can be seen also in this very mysterious house. Mars placed here, sometimes if it is negatively impacted, can also give some addictions. And again, this is a very sexual position, so there can be some excesses in sexual energy. Sometimes there can be loss of energy due to sexuality. But also Mars here can give other addictions as well. So you want to be very careful about the things that you're getting into with Mars position in this 12th house. Mars here also can create some major losses. Sometimes there's a tendency to go overboard with spending with Mars in this 12th house. You can become a spendthrift and you can have a lot of expenses and losses. Mars's aspect onto the 3rd house also makes you extremely courageous. You have, again, a lot of energy in this house. Actually, Mars in the 12th house can make you extremely restless. It can disrupt your sleep patterns. Sometimes you can have issues with insomnia. You can have strange sleeping patterns with Mars in the 12th house. This gives you a ton of energy. So as Mars is aspecting onto this 3rd house, you are extremely courageous, determined, ambitious. This definitely is a powerful position. But Mars can sometimes cause some conflicts in your relationship with siblings, particularly with younger siblings and male siblings, especially as Mars is a masculine planet. The 3rd house is also a house of communication, so you can have a very strong speaking ability. With Mars's aspect onto the 3rd house, you can make a great public speaker, presenter, anyone who is using your communication abilities. You can have a very powerful impact on others. This also can reflect in writing abilities, as the 12th house is all about your imagination. You can have a very vivid and active imagination, which can make you an excellent writer. Sometimes you can have some issues with your communication also, especially if Mars is not placed well in the chart. You can get into a lot of arguments, conflicts, and issues with others through your communication. This is typically because Mars gives you very strong values and belief systems, and you are someone who fights and stands by those beliefs. So this can create a lot of rifts and conflicts. Sometimes Mars here can also make you extremely competitive, so you can have a lot of drive and determination in this area. Mars, though, as it aspects onto the 6th house, can be very helpful in terms of health, but it can also give you a lot of obstacles in your health as well. You can have a lot of Martian-related illnesses with Mars back in this 12th house. Sometimes you can have some issues with cuts, bruises, accidents can be seen, issues related to the blood, as Mars is connected with blood. So you want to be very careful about your health, but definitely this gives you an ability to overcome health-related illnesses. Mars's aspect onto this 12th house also can help you to overcome obstacles with enemies, competitors, but mostly with Mars back in this 12th house, you want to avoid any kind of conflicts and issues with other people, because you can end up in a lot of difficult situations. This 12th house, again, is a house of prison, of hospitals, so you want to be very careful about your actions with Mars here. Mars definitely can create a lot of obstacles in terms of legal issues, debts. All of these things can come up with Mars's aspect onto the 6th house. Mars also will aspect onto the 7th house. Again, this is a manglic position, so this is creating a manglic dosh, but normally Mars's aspect onto the 7th house is not going to create separation or divorce with this position, but what it can do is it can create a lot of conflicts and obstacles within your marriage. So you can have a lot of differences in opinions, a lot of disagreements and issues that are coming up in this area. Sometimes Mars also can give sort of a jealousy or possessiveness towards the spouse as well. And you can also attract people who have very intense energies, but ultimately this is coming from your own energy with Mars back in this 12th house. So definitely this is a position where it's important to be open open and honest in your relationships. Mars's aspect onto the 7th house also can bring some obstacles and shared partnership. You want to be very careful about business partnerships, but mostly Mars here is good for independence, for self-employment, for entrepreneurship. So this is definitely a position where you want to work for yourself.